Number 2, we're going to test null sigma is 2.6 versus alternative is less than 2.6. Random sample n is 19 obtained from a population known to be normal, which has to be the case. If the sample standard deviation is 2.9, compute the test statistic. Okay, so StatCrunch. We're going to do the variance statistic 1 with summary. The sample variance, okay, so sample variance is going to be the square of the standard deviation, which we've got to figure that out. So we're going to do 2.9 squared. 2.9 squared. It gives us 8.41. The sample size is 19. The population variance, so this is the standard deviation, we also have to square that, so 2.6 squared gives you 6.76. So here 6.76, and we are testing less than. We're going to compute, and our chi-square stat is to 3 decimal places 22,393. 22,393. Researcher decides to test at alpha equals 10%. Determine the critical value. So if I go options and I edit, and we're going to say we're going to do the critical value 10%, so 0.10. We get the critical value from the table that would give us roughly about 10.865 to 3 decimal places. This is a left tail test, so A is showing the left tail, and will we reject the null or not? So if we are testing this at the 10% level of confidence, we can look at the p-value. P-value is greater, so it's not in the rejection region. If it's less than, we reject. So we will fail to reject. No, we will not, because our actual value is greater. It's to the right. So this is a left tail test. And this is giving me a value of 10. My actual value was 22. And so this is my rejection region. So either p-value is less or your statistic is greater. And it also might depend on the left or the right test. So whenever you're looking at the critical value, if we're doing a right tail test, you got to make sure your test statistic is less than. If we're doing a left tail test, your test statistic has to be greater than. But when we do p-value, it's always going to be if your p-value is less than alpha. So that's the thing you just need to be careful of. So we will not reject. We're not in the rejection region in this example. So because our statistic is greater than, so no, our statistic is greater than